Thank you. The second question relates to the operation of the JobPath scheme, including the number of participants in counties Galway and Mayo and nationally, and the number of persons who have found employment through this service.
Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Kyne. Wish a happy new year, but it's very unusual for a government backbencher to get two priority questions, so I think you may invest in a lottery ticket tonight. JobPath is a new approach to employment activation to support long-term unemployed people and those most at risk of becoming long-term unemployed to secure and sustain employment. Two companies through UNCTEX have been contracted by the Department to deliver JobPath services. The rollout of JobPath began last July on a soft launch basis, and as I said earlier on, the two pilots were Bray and Longford. At the end of 2015, in excess of 7,500 job seekers from 41 of the department interest centres and local offices have been referred to JobPath. Of the 7,500 job seekers referred to, 1,000 of them are from the Galway Mayo area, Deputy. The JobPath companies have a year to work with each job seeker in order to secure employment. As the service is in a rollout phase and as no participant has completed the JobPath programme, there are yet no meaningful statistics available on employment outcomes. The JobPath companies will be subject to a regular on-site inspection and audit to ensure that JobPath is delivered in accordance with the contract obligations. The Department will also commission customer satisfaction surveys to independently assess if customers were satisfied with the level, quality of the service delivered by the contractors. Failure by the contractor to supply the department's inspections or achieve a satisfactory score in the independent survey will result in payment penalties being applied. Participants in JobPath receives an intensive individual support to help them address the barriers to employment. And I want to emphasise that, to address the barriers to employment and to find jobs. Each person is assigned a personal advisor who assesses their skills, experiences and challenges and work goals and agree a personal progression plan that includes a schedule of activities, actions and job-focused targets. Participants are provided with a range of development supports and may also be referred to for further education and training opportunities. Deputy.
Deputy Seán Kyne.
Thank you, Minister, for your reply. When I raised this previously in September, it was stated that 200 people were referred to Galway, so that's certainly a huge increase there, 1,000 in the Galway Mayo area for an initiative that's only in operation since July, so I certainly welcome that progression. Can I just ask, in relation to the selection criteria, how that is operational? Is it random? Is it targeted? Also, in relation to the SLA with CTEC in the case of Galway, how are we ensuring, and you've mentioned some of them there in relation to customer satisfaction, how are we ensuring that the JobPath is effective, and what performance criteria that are in operation in that regard?
Thank you. Minister.
Deputy, first of all, the first criteria is long-term unemployed, so you have to be over a year. In relation to selection, it's random, because we want it very much to ensure that there's no cherry picking in relation to people, that everybody gets an equality opportunity. Since it's been rolled out in Galway, it's now also live in Achill, Ballina, Belmullet, Castlebar, Galway, Loughrea and Westport. So there's been an improvement in rolling out that service. And I think which is critical is that in relation to the assessment, and certainly the early assessment element of it is there's a customer satisfaction interaction. And I think that's a very important and key element. There just isn't the resources within the department to give everybody that level of service. And what this government is doing and wanted to do is to make sure that people that are long-term unemployed gets the best supports to access into employment. So you can't just look at this service in isolation, because Job Plus and a number of targets have been set right across government to actually help and assist long-term unemployed, who always in the past were the last ones to receive the benefit of a recovery that they can also share in by accessing those opportunities of work that is starting right across the country.
Yeah, thank you, Minister. You mentioned random nature, there's no cherry picking. Would you agree that there are certain instances whereby it might be advantageous, for example, where somebody might be very well suited to a particular job or training initiative, and that might be something that could be considered in a percentage of cases. And can I just ask also, and you've mentioned the rollout, for example, in Connemara, which is a large area where they have to cross the city for the entry office and things like that, is there any I suppose, is the department taking cognizance of that in terms of distances to travel and availability of public transport for people in that regard?
Thank you. Minister.
Just in relation to your last point, there's ongoing cooperation and engagement with the local intro offices, and where issues like this have come up, it's actually covered within the contractual agreement to make sure people can actually assess those centres, and in cases great imagination has been used in relation to that, where there's been difficulty in relation to transport, where a small minibus has been hired to collect people and deliver them to the centre. So it's a flexible process. Deputy, I would imagine this question will come up more and more about self-referral. And it has already come up to me in relation to this already. It's just a little bit too early in relation to the service. We responded to that in relation to TOOS, where we made 20% capable of self-referral. At this stage, it's very early in the contract position. We've rolled out, as I say, called the pilot schemes. I do imagine if this service works well, which I believe it will, there will be a demand on future governments to actually allow a self-referral, because already has been brought to my attention. My neighbour was able to access JobPath, but I wasn't picked. Why can't I go? So I see a future demand in that, and I would encourage a response from government at the time when that demand arises.